this week on Carolina All Out.
Well, we're back at Montgomery Community College, and I'm here with Billy, and he's been talking to me about Cerakoting. Oh, that's going to be sweet looking. Well, I can see that this isn't the cleanest of jobs.
No, not at all. It's a messy one.
We're going to let the master do it because I don't want to mess this up. It's starting to look a little bit more like it all the time. That's amazing, man. For what that gun looked like to what it looks like now, is that not sweet? Check it out.
She's been here with us almost since the beginning. No, I'm not talking about G, my better half, but I'm talking about the Browning A5 I bought with the intention to make my one gun for all seasons. Now that 8 seasons have gone by, she's still with us, cycling ammo like clockwork and putting an impressive list of critters under her belt. Let's see here. Swans, ducks, doves, rabbits, crows, pheasants, and turkeys have all fallen prey to her. With that much action and all the conditions she's experienced, I think a little tender loving care is in order. That's where Montgomery Community College's Gunsmithing program comes in. We've got history with this unique education program that's been teaching students the art of gun work since 1978 and is still going strong. Lead instructor Mark Dye suggested that I bring the A5 down for a little checkup and show off the Cerakote equipment that the Gunsmithing program is teaching students how to utilize. Billy Athey instructs the students all the ins and outs of Cerakoting, so he's going to take us through the process of what they teach their students of prepping, painting, and baking.
Well, we're back at Montgomery Community College, and as you can see in front of me, I have the old A5 that we have been using for season after season here. And if we look at some old video, you would see this gun looks different back then as opposed to now. And so I'm here with Billy, and he's been talking to me about Cerakoting, and that's not a new process. It's been around for a long time, I think, hasn't it?
Since the 90s, I believe.
Since the 90s, and so that is going to give us a more durable finish there. And this is something that they're teaching students here at the college every day how to do. So talk to me about the Cerakoting process and what all's going to happen, Billy.
Okay, so we want to get the gun a new lease on life, so to speak. You've sent over some patterns that you've come up with,
yep.
And so I went ahead and I've got Cerakoting the colors based on what you sent me. So the next thing we'll need to do is determine the size of the pattern, what parts we want to apply it to, and anything else, any other touches we want to add to the gun. And while we're bringing it back to life, we can straighten out some of the wear and tear we've put into the thing.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. So I did send you like an old school camo drawing that I did.
Yes, sir. We'll get it pulled up and we'll get it all cut out on a vinyl plotter, and then we can start getting all of the hydro dip and the factory texture off and start putting paint on it.
All right, sounds like a lot of work, but I'm looking forward to it. So that looks really good, man. I like the looks. That's just the right size there. So how does this all go down here?
Yes, sir. So that's the pattern you sent over, and what we've done, we've played with the scale so that it matches somewhat appropriately to the stock and forend. And then what we'll do, we've also modeled up your fishbone logo to go on the back of the stock here.
Okay. Well, that's going to be sweet looking.
So while the plotter's cutting out all the stencils, the next thing we need to do is get this thing apart and get it cleaned up, and then start removing the hydro dip. And after that, we'll degrease it and blast it, and it'll be ready to paint.
Okay. There's
it is. So we've got everything apart. It would be a good idea to take these stocks to have that DuraTouch tacky texture.
Yeah.
We'll throw them in the ultrasonic with some heat, and that'll help break that loose so we can scrape it off, and then we can get to work getting the hydro dip off everything.
Okay, cool.
All right, so Chris, we've got your stocks in the ultrasonic.
Right.
They're getting cleaned up, so we can go ahead and scrape that DuraTouch off. And we've got the action tube and the mag tube out of the receiver. So we're ready to put the barrel and receiver in the ultrasonic, and that way we can try to soften up the hydro dip and start peeling it away.
Right.
But before we do that, I had noticed you've got this nice little dent in your rib, so we can try to pull that out for you and straighten it up. So there's a special tool for pulling dents out of ribs. Some of the older guys, the shade tree gunsmiths, they'll take a plastic or wooden wedge or a flathead screwdriver and just push through and push the dent up. But in doing that, you pull up on the posts, and sometimes they'll separate from the barrel.
Right.
So with this tool, it rests on or near the posts. So when we pull the rib up, we're pulling against the rib and not against the barrel, so it's less likely to pop it loose.
Gotcha.
And there it is. All right, so now we've got the dent out of the rib. We'll go ahead and run the barrel and receiver over the ultrasonic, and we'll get the stocks out, and we'll start scraping off that DuraTouch.
Okay, sounds great.
So this is our larger ultrasonic cleaner.
Okay. Ooh, nice and green.
Yeah, we run the same solution. This is fresh. We just changed it out. It's just simple green concentrate and water. A little bit of heat and sound waves. Turn that up. And that way all the trash that's inside will fall out. All this is a scrap piece of Kydex from our holster making class. So it's like an end piece.
Right.
And it's hard enough that it'll scrape the stock without scratching it up. And all I want to do is get that DuraTouch film off. So you'll be able to see like a, yeah, it's actually pulling the hydro dip off too, which is kind of what our end goal was anyway.
More gunsmithing work after these messages. Carolina All Out is brought to you by AgriSupply, Home, Hardware, Farm. Carolina Cooker, Tools, Cooks, Legends, you create the tradition. The North Carolina Marine and Estuary Foundation, building world-class fisheries and thriving coastal economies. And by the Better Fishing with Two Bald Biologists podcast.
Well, I can see that this isn't the cleanest of jobs.
No, not at all. It's a messy one.
But you got it looking good now. This makes this ready to go to the sandblasting?
Yeah, so this, again, we just wanted to get the majority of the hydro dip off of the gun before we went into the bead blaster so that all that plastic and material doesn't get deposited into our media. We use aluminum oxide, so we'll go over this with that aluminum oxide, and it'll be a dingy gray black, but it'll all be even and smooth, and it'll be a surface or a substrate that the paint can hold on to.
Okay, gotcha, gotcha. Well, Billy, oil is a enemy of all this stuff that we're trying to do.
So we'll teach the students here when we're doing our refinishing classes, the oil is going to contaminate any finish, whether it be bluing or parkerizing or Cerakote or anything. And what we're going to do when we apply the coating, it will be oven cured, so it'll heat up. And when it does, the oil will get thin and have a little bit of pressure, and it will try to seep out of where it's at.
Okay.
And we can see in a couple places on the barrel, we've got oil coming between the rib and barrel itself. So what we need to do, we haven't seen any oil out of the receiver yet, but just to be safe, since we're gonna have to gas out the barrel, which is a term that Cerakote uses, we're gonna gas out the barrel. We'll go ahead and throw the receiver in the oven as well.
Okay.
So the goal there is not necessarily to cook all of the oil out of the part, but to get it to a point where we can safely run through the cure process of the finish and the oil not seep out and lift the paint off the part. But while the receiver and barrel are being gassed out, we can go ahead and start the first few coats of color on the stock and fore end.
Okay, looking forward to that.
All right, so I've got the gun adjusted.
Yep.
So you want to take a stab at it?
Okay, for the sake of time, I think I'm gonna let you do this. Now I know this is what you teach in the classes. And so the students will learn to use the paint gun, and process is gonna take what, several days for them, or
At least.
potentially a semester?
I tell students the only real way to get good at this is an acquired skill. It's not something you just understand.
Right.
The only way to do it is to do it wrong, and redo it.
We're gonna let the master do it, because I don't wanna mess this up, because I'm looking so forward to having this gun in my hand. And if we did mess up, then we gotta start back over again.
Start all the way over.
Yeah, you carry on, sir.
All right.
Those look pretty doggone good there, Billy. Just like they are.
Well, we can leave them in the brown if you want.
Oh no, we're gonna go the whole route. That pattern is gonna be cool when we get it on there, especially the fishbone. So what's next? We're taking over to, these have got to cook for a while, right?
Yeah, so we leave them out in the open air to flash off the solvent, and then once that's happened, we've had a couple minutes out in the open air, we'll go put them in the oven and we're gonna flash cure them.
Okay.
So,
Carolina All Out is brought to you by Agri-Supply, Home, Hardware, Farm. Carolina Cooker, Tools, Cooks, Legends, you create the tradition. D&Z Products, when it comes time to take your trophy, accuracy is a must. The Dixie Deer Classic, the South's premier sportsman's event. My A5 has seen quite a bit of action over the years, but Billy Athey of Montgomery Community College is making this gun look better than new.
So now we've got the stocks in the oven flash curing. Well, we've got 30 minutes before we pull them out to do the stencils in the next color. That's just enough time. We've got the oil gassed out of the barrel. We can go ahead and paint the barrel, receiver, and magazine cap with our solid burnt bronze color. So these will be a one and done. Once this paint goes on, they'll go in the oven and it'll stay until full cure.
Looks like it's stencil time.
It is. It's time to wrap your Christmas present.
I'm excited. I mean, I like this color so much, I could almost just let it go at that, but I can't wait to see the other stuff on it.
So we've got your fishbone logo here, and we're gonna put it on the back of the stock. Again, we've got it long enough where it'll take up the whole stock plus a little bit of wrap. So we've got to be real diligent that we get all this off in one piece and get it laid down straight and even, so that when we paint on the next layers, the stencil will protect this color, and then we'll peel off what we don't want, which would be the perimeter of the logo, and we'll paint the other colors. That way it all looks the way we drew it up originally.
Gotcha.
All right, so we've got your logo on there situated. So at this point now, we're gonna take the splotch stencils off of the sheet and put them to the stock. With these, since they don't overlap, they have very specific edges that are parallel to the splotches next to them. So we've got to be careful that we make sure that wherever we pull a splotch from on the sheet, it goes on the stock, and then we remember where that is on the stock. And then when we go to the next colors, we've got to get the adjacent
All right.
splotches. So we've got our stencils on to preserve our dark brown that we've already sprayed.
Right.
And we've got our paint mixed and ready for the reddish brown. So we'll go ahead and apply that.
Sounds good. It's starting to look a little bit more like it all the time.
As with anything that's worthwhile, a process like this takes time. Billy makes it look easy, but it takes knowledge, precision, and a healthy portion of patience. This process involves applying stencils, painting, then baking, and then applying more stencils and repeating the process all over again.
Well, you can see Billy is dedicated to this thing, and I can see it starting to happen right now in form. I can see all the pieces there, and he kind of told me that this is going to be like an opening up a Christmas present, so to speak, wouldn't it? All these stickers off of here, right?
Most definitely, because right now it's just one brown blob with some yellow stickers on it, other than the ones we've covered up. But yeah, once you start pulling them off and it starts to really take shape, it's very much like opening up a Christmas present.
Well, this kind of process is what they're teaching students every day here at Montgomery Community College, and I've been impressed with this college since the first time we started working with them and what they're able to teach students right here in North Carolina, right here on the edge of Uwharrie National Forest.
More gunsmithing work after these messages. Carolina All Out is brought to you by the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission, Farms and Land Realty, selling land is what we do, and by these fine sponsors. Don't go away, there's more Carolina All Out after these messages.
Welcome back to Appetite for the Outdoors. I'm Jason with Carolina Cooker. Today we're frying up some whole dove breast in our discada. Good thing about this is when you're deep frying in the discada, the way it's shaped, you can get a nice big pool of oil using not as much oil as you would in like a vat or even a skillet. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is take my bowl. I'm gonna add the egg to it and beat the egg first. Then to that bowl, I'm gonna add my buttermilk, and we're gonna whisk this, get our egg mixture and buttermilk combined. That's gonna be the wet portion. And then on this plate, I'm gonna add my 3 cups of all-purpose flour and combine that with our chicken and rib rub and get that nice and mixed in. Okay, we're gloved up, ready to fry. I'm gonna show you this wet hand, dry hand method so you don't have crusty flour all over the place. I'm gonna take one hand and keep it in the dry. So we're gonna add dove breast to our flour, and I'm going to coat those with the dry hand, get them nice and covered. Now I'm going to take this hand, add them to our wet, making sure if I do get this hand wet, it's not going back in my dry mix. Now with this hand, get the dove nice soaked in our egg and buttermilk, and then go back to my flour one more time. We've got our oil at 350 in our discada, so we're going to start dropping these in. About 3 to 5 minutes each one. Okay, so we've got all of our dove fried through. A nice, easy deep fry in the discada. Of course, if you don't have fried dove, you could use chicken breast or chicken thighs, but if you do have the dove sitting around, give this one a try. Let us help you navigate all the seasons, both in the field and in the kitchen.
Telling me this whole time it's kind of like Christmas here, so I kind of am starting to see, because I'm looking at all this and I'm just ready to see it peel away. So
Yep, it's just like opening up a Christmas present. You don't know what's underneath until you start getting the paper off.
yeah. Oh, she's coming together pretty now. That's amazing, man. For what that gun looked like to what it looks like now, is that not sweet? Check it out. Got the fishbone back here. Billy has shown me something new here. Now, Cerakote has been around for quite a while now, right?
That's right. Yep, since at least the late 80s.
Since the late 80s, but we're doing it here today at Montgomery Community College, and this is part of the program and what you can learn to do here. I think that if you have an interest in anything in the gunsmithing world, this is the place to go to. I'll stand by it.
I appreciate that.
Well, I know exactly where I'm going to be taking this thing to here shortly, and I cannot wait to see if I am the envy of the dove field. All right. Good sized bird there. We'll go get on back on the little spot right there and see if we can make it happen again. Awesome. I think I can find him. That's what I need. I need that flight line right there where they come in low and slow. That's my game right there. I'm loving the noose. Don't you guys like that right there? Look at there. Isn't that pretty? Gosh, 3 times it takes me to get him, but I got him. I got him.
The gunsmithing program at Montgomery Community College continues to amaze me with the different skill sets they teach their students. I want to be clear that when we bring a gun to the program, it's to showcase what skills students can learn there and not to imply that they work on guns for people. What I love is that they made this everyday camo A5 into a working tool that's unique to our brand. I hope you enjoyed this one, and possibly it inspires you to check out the program at Montgomery Community College. I'm Chris, signing off for Carolina All Out, and remember, our state is your next adventure. Thanks for watching Carolina All Out, North Carolina's favorite hunting and fishing show.
Bad Daisy.